Reince Priebus, welcome back. Good to see you from Washington, D.C. We're going to spend some time today talking.
You've been copying late-night jokes. What the heck?
We're going to spend some time today talking about a big story of this week, Hillary Clinton and her email. I want to start with that with you. She did a press conference. Everyone paid attention to it. I have just a really straightforward question with you to start things off. Do you think she's lying? And if so, about what?
I don't know if she's lying, but I do know that the circumstances and the facts are so circumstantial that I think she could be pretty well convicted on the circumstantial evidence. And if you look at whether she signed a separation agreement with the Department of State when she left, what emails that she destroyed and what is personal and what's not, I certainly think that it stinks to high heaven, and hopefully that we'll get to the bottom of it. But I think we're going to have to get the server in order to truly know what was in those emails and what wasn't.
When you say convicted on circumstantial evidence, do you mean that metaphorically, or do you mean that literally, that there's something you think she's done where she's broken the law?
Listen, I think if you were to measure the preponderance of the evidence and the fact that somebody deletes over 30,000 emails, I think that she could be convicted on that lie. But the point is, we're never really going to know the truth. And I think that the ultimate issue here is that the American people deserve to know what was in those emails and whether or not some of their property, some of the taxpayers' property, was destroyed by Hillary Clinton. And we may never know, but I'm hopeful that at some point we're going to get a third party to review that server and find out.
And for you, just what questions, like what important either political or legal questions remain unanswered? She took some questions up there. What are the things that you want to know from her beyond what was in those emails? Are there other questions you have?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to know who reviewed the emails. I mean, what were the standards put in place to determine whether or not an email was determined to be property of the government or property of Hillary Clinton? Where are those standards? And then who are the people that administered those standards would be another question. The third thing would be who at the Department of State oversaw the application of these standards, and whether or not the separation agreement, which should have been signed by Hillary Clinton, was actually adhered to by Hillary Clinton. I mean, those are some really basic things that we haven't gotten to the bottom of yet. I suspect that this is just the beginning of this controversy, not the end. And I think that you're going to see a drip, drip, drip over the next couple of months on this issue. And I think these are going to get much worse rather than better, unlike many other controversies that seem to go away after a few slow days on the news, and then suddenly we're moving on to other things.
Mark Halpern up in New Hampshire, jump in here.
Mr. Chairman, you said you want someone to inspect the server. Hillary Clinton made it pretty clear at the UN she doesn't plan to give up the server. What would you like to see the congressional Republicans or anyone else do to change that and get access to it by an independent party to look at it?
Well, I mean, I'm hopeful that maybe one of these judicial cases may produce an opinion from a court that may allow for a subpoena of the server. It's possible that a committee in Congress could get subpoena power, although I understand that that's difficult. Congress could possibly get subpoena power over the server, and it's possible that I think that this controversy is just starting and that other revelations will come to light that will require, by the weight of news and the weight of all of the pressure, could require her to do nothing but allow for the server to be inspected by a third party. So I think it's actually pretty early to kind of get to that point yet, but I think over the course of the next couple of weeks we'll find out whether the pressure mounts for such an action.
John?
Yeah, okay. Mr. Chairman, your communications director, Sean Spicer, a couple weeks ago sent out a memo to interested parties on a variety of different things, but one of the raised in that memo was Bill Clinton's travels with Jeffrey Epstein, who is, as you know, a convicted sex offender. I'm curious why the RNC decided to go there and what you hope to achieve by raising that issue.
Well, I mean, we're just hoping, obviously, that other folks in the media, too, start asking questions as to what all of those trips were about. And I think there's a lot of unanswered questions about the Clintons. I mean, obviously now we have Hillary Clinton's brother in a contract that he received after 50 years of no mining in Haiti. Suddenly the very first contract comes out, and it turns out that Hillary's relatives gets the contract for a multi-million-dollar mining deal. I mean, the point is, as much as we think we know the Clintons, what this email controversy has revealed to us, John, and it goes to your question about Epstein and this life that they lead, is that we really don't know these people.
But let me be
really don't know Hillary Clinton.
Mr. Chairman, just let me interrupt you and be really specific. You guys raised not a general question, but a specific question about Jeffrey Epstein. What are the questions you'd like to have answered about President Clinton's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, we'd like to know what he was doing with Jeffrey Epstein. How many trips did he take? Where was he going? What did he do when he was with this guy? I mean, when you hang out with a guy who has a reputation like Jeffrey Epstein, and you're with a former president multiple times on private jets, on weekends and trips at places that at least had been reported not very good things happened, you know, it would be good to know what our former president was doing, especially since it appears as though he's going to be part of a presidential campaign ticket on the other side of the aisle.
Mark, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Lots covered, lots we didn't get to. Hope to have you back soon.
Happy to. Thank you, guys.